I don't know whether to thank the person who sent me this link or to wish the fleas of 1,000 camels infest your armpits. Oh, here we go with a nice young feminist. This time, it's a boy.
My name is Eitan Bernath. I'm a 16-year-old male, and I am a proud feminist.
I'm sorry. Who hurt you?
Feminist, an advocate for women's rights on the basis of social, economic, and political equality of the sexes.
Compared to white men, right.
Today's International Women's Day, a day for advocacy of women's rights around the world.
The world is a big place, and a lot of countries in the world do have serious problems with, female rights, and gosh, even men are treated poorly in some of these countries. I know. But you see, here's one thing, young man. We are in the West. We are in the first world. We have very few problems remaining with gender issues. You see what I'm saying?
I'm here to talk to all of the teenage boys that are watching to talk about why it is so important for all of us to be feminists and what exactly that means.
Okay, dictionary definition boy, let's hear it.
We must be an ally for gender equality.
Of course, we need to be an ally. An ally.
Because it is not a women's problem, but it is a human problem. Personally, I've been a feminist ever since I can remember. I've always been surrounded by strong working women like my mom, my grandmothers, and some of my biggest inspirations in life are women who are big feminists like Ellen DeGeneres and Lily Singh.
Christina Hoff Sommers? Camille Paglia? No? Doesn't ring a bell? I'm surprised.
I'm definitely no expert on the topic, but I always try to keep myself as informed as possible.
Now you're going to prove that you're not an expert on the topic and how uninformed you actually are, young man.
So I know as much as I can about this thing that I'm so passionate about.
Well, you should use Google. It's that thing on the computer. Do a little research and find out exactly what's going on instead of just listening to propaganda.
Here in the United States, it is almost the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which enabled women to vote and have a say in our government.
And to remove all of the responsibilities of being a woman in the last 100 years. Gosh almighty, isn't that something?
A century later, we've made tremendous strides for women's equality in this country.
But do we still have such a long way to go? Do we?
And today we have the most amount of women in Congress than we've ever had before.
So it would seem that after 100 years of females having the right to vote, they still seem to vote for mostly men. It's got to be the patriarchy. Is that right?
But unfortunately, we still live in a broken system that says that my work as a white male is...
You were saying you were informed about this? You're informed, are you?
It's worth 46 cents more to the dollar than an equally qualified Hispanic woman, and 31 cents more to the dollar than an equally qualified African American woman for the exact same job.
Oh, listen to this guy. Listen to him go and inform us with all of this nonsense. Hey, young man, have you ever wondered why nobody ever compares everybody's wages to Asian men? Since Asian men make more than everybody else. I wonder if they did that, that wouldn't fit the narrative of the evil white man, would it?
That is absolutely messed up.
Yes, it is. Only not for the reasons you believe. It is.
While we've come a long way here in the United States, in parts of the world, women are still treated like property and have few to no rights of their own.
That sucks. Why don't you go to those places as a summer vacation and help those women in Bangladesh, in Afghanistan, and the Middle East? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and go help them?
Education isn't even an option for many women.
Or men in some of these places. You do understand that, right?
Because they are seen as uneducatable and only capable of working in their home.
Here's another thing to consider, young man, Mr. Informed, who is so smart about feminism. If you're in some third world country, for example, a non-industrialized, agriculture-based economy, people scrape the ground with their sticks and they plant things to try to get enough food to eat. Those places, Ethiopia, maybe Somalia, some of the poorer countries around the world, where would a woman go to work? You think there's insurance companies lined up, mile after mile of office buildings, and only men are allowed to go to these places? Or does it affect them both? Just asking.
There's a lot of work to be done to build not only societies that will educate women, but societies that will support women working in the workforce.
What if there is no place to work, young man, except in a farm field and the home?
Furthermore, in many cultures, women are removed from society and placed into isolation during menstruation because of beliefs that a naturally occurring bodily function is unholy.
How does that hurt them? It's rather silly, but what is the harm in that?
How can something that is a natural biological process be evil or wrong? We must combat misogyny whether it is blatant or under the guise of tradition.
Go ahead. Why don't you go to some of these places and tell them, hey, she's on her period, you let her into the holy temple because your religion's wrong. Your tradition's wrong. Oh, no. You'd never do that, would you?
We must throw away ridiculous taboos and include in the education system for teenage guys like me about consent, that no means no, and that no item of clothing or lack thereof means that she was asking for it.
Nobody has ever said that. Except maybe in a movie.
It's no coincidence that boys grow up, whether consciously or subconsciously, believing that they are superior to women.
We are in some ways, physically. Typically, we're bigger and stronger than women. Women are superior in other ways. You see, we both have our strengths, young man.
Misogyny is ingrained in many aspects of how we raise our children.
How so? Are you going to talk about fucking toys and the color pink? Is that what you're going to do next?
We must teach boys that women are not princesses locked up in a castle waiting for a strong man to save them.
Okay, you get them to convince themselves that that's not true.
We need to teach them that women are strong, powerful, and like them, capable of shaping their own future.
Or if some guy they find creepy asks them out, then they're not strong and powerful. Then they're babies. They cry to the government, we need more laws because I'm a strong, powerful woman. Oh, okay.
For all teenage boys watching this, I'm asking you to stop and think about what it really means to be a feminist.
Yeah, teenage guys, if you're listening to this, don't be one. Support equality with women. Women are the same. They should be treated fairly, pay, and all of these other things, but don't call yourself a feminist.
And why you should identify as one. I promise you it will not threaten your masculinity to stand up for women's rights. It's a common misconception that when women are lifted up, that men are brought down. That is simply not true.
Okay, so some feminists advocate that we have, equal representation in Congress, 51% women, in the boardroom, 51% women, all these things. If there is a fixed number of seats, young man, in Congress, and 51% must be women, that means a bunch of men are torn down. Don't you understand that is the point of feminism?
When we are all united, we can and will fix this broken system, ensuring equal rights, pay, and opportunity for every single woman in this world.
Let's talk about the United States. Let's talk about the West. What rights do women not have in the Western world that men have? Tell me what they're missing, and I will fight with you to get that done. Don't talk to me about equal pay. That has been the law in most Western world countries since the 1960s.
Is not a radical idea, a political agenda, or impossible.
It's not a political agenda. Get the fuck out. Oh my God. You really don't know anything about this, do you?
Imagine what can be accomplished when half of the world's population is not held back.
I would say a lot more of the world's population than half is held back. There are a lot of countries where nobody has a lot of rights. Venezuela, maybe China, maybe another one, some parts of India. I'm just throwing it out.
Not only will there be major socioeconomical impact, but there'll be breakthroughs in every field of work that will ultimately advance humankind.
The first Nobel Prize will be awarded to a gender studies professor for breaking through with a new paper. It'll be fantastic.
Ever since I've been loud and proud about my support for gender equality, I've encountered many boys my age who have jeered when hearing that I am a feminist. It's unfortunate that the false and negative connotation that's been given to this word caused these boys' fragile masculinity to feel threatened.
Is it toxic masculinity or fragile? Or is it both at the same time? I do not understand. If someone's toxic and masculine, how can they also be fragile? Head desk.
I try to educate them, and I hope I've done the same with this video about the true meaning of feminism.
You absolutely missed. It was a softball. It was an easy pitch, and you didn't even swing. Young man, go back to school, learn some facts, learn how to do math, and then start looking at realistic sources on the internets, the Googles. It's right there. Look up, get your data, get your facts together, then come back and tell us how big of a feminist you are once you realize it's a big pile of bullshit. Links below. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.